Hello students, today we'll be discussing mesh and node analysis, which you are aware of as KVL and KCL. Now KVL stands for the Kirchhoff's voltage law and KCL stands for the Kirchhoff's current law. The first circuit that I'm going to discuss, it looks like this. You can see that it has three resistors R1, R2 and R3. They're having a value of 1 kilo ohm, 2 kilo ohm and 3 kilo ohms respectively, and I've used a DC source of 5 volts. And I can solve this circuit by using both mesh as well as node analysis. Let's try to solve the circuit using mesh analysis first. When we have to do it using mesh analysis, then we have to see that how many loops are there in a given circuit. Now, if I look at the given circuit, then in actual, there are two individual loops, loop 1 and loop 2. Now, at the same time, there's third loop, which we take this as wherein we take this as one whole loop. But while solving mesh analysis, we consider individual loops. And in these individual loops, we define the mesh currents because I'm trying to solve the circuit using mesh analysis. So I define a mesh current here. It flows like this. I am assuming that it is I1. In the second loop, we assume again current is flowing like this and the current it is I2. Now, if I look at the 3 kilo ohm resistor, then I1 is flowing from this node towards ground and I2 is flowing from ground towards this particular node. Let's call this node as node A. Let's try to solve it using mesh analysis. So first I apply KVL in loop 1. Now this loop 1 is also known as mesh 1. If I will do it, then I can write an equation of the form of 5 is equal to I1 times 1k plus 3k, and now since I2 is in opposition, as a result minus I2 times 3k. So my final equation takes the form of 5 is equal to I1 times 4k minus I2 times 3k. This is my first equation. Likewise, if I will apply KVL in loop 2, since there is no energy source there, so 0 is equal to, first I solve for I2, so I2 times 2k plus 3k, and since now the current I1 is in opposition with I2, so as a result negative I1 times 3k. So my final equation for the loop 2 looks like this. It is 0 is equal to negative 3k I1 plus I2 times 5k. So now we have two equations and two unknowns, I1 and I2. And when we will solve for it, there at that time, we'll get I1 as, if you are going to solve it, you will get I1 as 2.27 milliamps. 2.27 milliamps. And my I2 should come up as 1.36 milliamps. So 1.36 milliamps. Now, for example, I'm finding I1 and I2, but I am also looking for the voltage drop across 3 kilo ohm resistance. Now, the voltage drop across 3 kilo ohm resistance will be given by 3K times the current flowing through it. So I can write it like I1 minus I2, and which should come as, if you will solve, 2.79 volts. So these are the results that we got when I solved the circuit using mesh analysis. Now, if I want to solve the same circuit using node analysis, how we will do is, first we will define the nodes, and the node is also known as junction. So you can see that I've already defined a node here. This is the junction at which R1, R2 and R3 are meeting. Basically, a junction is a place at which the division of current occurs. So at here we can see that there's a division of current which is occurring here. Now, when we are doing it using node analysis, at that time we define the branch currents. So there is one branch which is comprising of two components, V1 and R1. I assume that the current through this is small I1. Likewise, when I come here, I can assume that the current is small I2, and let the current flowing through this is small I3. So now I am doing the same exercise, but this time I am doing it using node analysis, and I assume that the voltage drop here is VA. Now, using node analysis, we have to use KCL. So I say I apply KCL at node A, because that's the only node of relevance. The other node of relevance is this node, which is your reference. Now, when we do that, then we can see that I1 is the current which is entering, and I2 and I3 are leaving. So as a result, if I apply KCL at node A, then I1 will be equal to I2 plus I3, because I1 is the current which is entering the node A, but I2 and I3 are leaving. Now, when I want to write an equation for I1, it can be written as V, which is nothing but 5 in our case, minus VA divided by R1, which is nothing but 1K. This is equal to I2. I2 will be given by VA minus 0 divided by 2K. I3 will be given by plus VA minus 0 divided by 3K. And here we solve for VA, because VA is the only unknown which is here. If you are going to solve for VA, then you will get VA as 2.72 volts. Now, if you look at VA, then VA is the voltage measured, is the voltage which is measured between node A and ground. So as a result, this is same as the voltage drop across 3 kilo ohm resistance. If I have to find I1 and I2, now this time I have to use this equation and this equation for finding small I1 and small I2. If I compare the two circuits, then you can see that capital I1 is same as small I1, and capital I2 is same as small I2. So this is how we can solve a given circuit using either mesh analysis, which we did here, or node analysis. Whichever way we are comfortable, we can use that particular type of analysis. I hope it is clear to you. Now, let's move on to a case wherein instead of having a single energy source in the circuit, we are having two energy sources. Now, if we are having two energy sources in the circuit looks like this. So I've taken this circuit, so I'm using the same values of R's here, but this time, in addition to a 5 volt, I'm also having a voltage source of 10 volts. Again, we'll try to solve it using mesh analysis first, and then we'll verify the results using node analysis. Again, you can see that there are two meshes in here, mesh 1 and mesh 2. For mesh 1, let's try to mark the current direction. Now, current always flows from positive to negative, so I am making it like this. Let this be I1. Here, I make it flow like this because now I'm having a voltage source here. Current always flows from positive to negative. I'm calling it I2. I'm calling this as I1. I again go and define a node here. I'm calling this as node A. So what I'm looking for is I1, I2, and the voltage drop across 3 kilo ohm resistance, like we did in the previous case. So this time we are solving it using mesh analysis. So again, two meshes are there in the circuit. Now, if there are two meshes in the circuit, then you can see that for the first mesh, I'll write an equation of the form of 5 is equal to, first I do it for I1. I1 is flowing from 1 kilo ohm and 3 kilo ohm resistor. This time, both the currents I1 and I2 are flowing from node A towards node B. You can see towards the ground. So both the currents are flowing in the same direction. As a result, plus I2 times 3K. My final equation looks of the form of 5 is equal to I1 times 4K plus I2 3K. This is my first equation. When I apply KVL in loop 2, this time I get 10 is equal to, first I solve only for the second mesh, so I2 times 2K plus 3K. And now since through 3K, I1 is also flowing and both I2 and I1 are flowing in the same direction. As a result, plus I2 I1 times 3K. So my final equation looks like this. It is 10 is equal to I1 times 3K plus I2 times 5K. Now in, so I have two equations, equation 1 and 2, and there are two unknowns, capital I1 and capital I2. If I am going to solve for capital I1 and capital I2, which is one of the requirements, then your capital I1, which is the mesh current flowing in the first loop, should come up as negative of 0.45 milliamps. Now here, if I'm getting a negative, that means the direction that I have chosen in the circuit is opposite to the direction of the current which is actually flowing in the circuit. So even if I have chosen the negative direction, automatically I get a negative here. If we will look at I2 2, then I2 should come up as 2.27 milliamps. And the voltage drop across 3 kilo ohm resistance will this time be given by 3 kilo ohms times I1 plus I2. And the value which I got was here. If I am going to put in these values, the value is coming up as 5.46 volts. Now let's see, are we getting the same values using node analysis? For node analysis, we have to first define the node. So I have already defined a node A here, and I assume that the voltage here is VA. So let's try to solve the same question, but this time using node analysis. Now, if I'm doing it using node analysis, then I have to define the node currents. So again, I assume let this be I1, small I1. Let this be small I2, and current which is flowing through this is small I3. When we come here, then you can see that if I apply, I say I apply KV, so applying KCL at node A, we get small I1 is entering, small I2 is also entering, and small I3 is the current which is leaving the node I3. So as a result, if I want to write an equation for the I1, the equation for I1 will be given by V1, which is 5, minus VA divided by 1K. Next, I want to write it for I2. I2 will be given by 10 minus VA divided by 2K. This is equal to I3, wherein I3 is given by VA minus 0 divided by 3K. Now in this equation, you can see that the only unknown out here is VA. And when I solve it for VA, I again get the same value, which is 5.46. So this is same, this is nothing but VA. Now when I have to solve for I1, so I can just write here as VA, you should get roughly around 5.46 volts. And I1, which is given by 5 minus VA by 1K, will again come up as 0.45 milliamps. And when I solve it for I2, I'm getting I2 as 2.27 milliamps. So this is how we solve the circuit using KVL and KCL, and the results can be very easily verified. Now there's another circuit which normally students are confused with, and the circuit it is wherein I'm using a hybrid circuit. So let me just go and I can draw a circuit this time. So this time my circuit is a hybrid circuit having R, L and C. So you might have seen a circuit like this in any of your books. Now it can have two sources or it can have a single source. So for the timing, I'm solving it using single source, and you can try it using double source. If you have any problem, you can always put that problem in the comment. I'll try to solve it. So I am assuming here this is 1 ohms. This is J. It's given like this, J 2 ohms, and this is negative J 3 ohms. Now you can see that instead of giving you L and C, the values of XL and XC are given. So as a result, we do not need frequency, because we need frequency only for calculating XC and XL. Again, this can be solved both by KCL and KVL. Let's try to solve it using KVL. Right? Now, the first and foremost work is that I try to convert the circuit or redraw the circuit in a form like this. So I prefer Z1 here. I prefer Z2 here. And I'm using this as Z3. Again, I'm having a source of 5 volt, which is a DC source. So the same thing can also be written as 5 with an angle of 0, because DC is not having any of the phases. Now here my Z1 is pure resistance. So as a result, 1 ohms. My Z2 is an inductor and the value is given as J2. So plus J2 ohms. Z3 is a capacitor. So negative J3 ohms. Again, since I'm trying to solve the circuit using mesh analysis, so how many meshes again? 2. Again, I'm assuming that currents are flowing in the clockwise direction in both the meshes. So this is I1 here, this is I2. Well, let's come here. This is I1. And here is I2. I again try to write an equation. So I apply KVL in loop 1. If I apply KVL in loop 1, then I get 5 is equal to I1 times Z1 plus Z. Now the two currents are in opposition. As a result, minus I2 Z3. Let's try to put in the values. So this is equal to I1. Z1 is 1. Z2, Z3 is minus 3J. So negative J3 minus I2 negative J3. And this is equal to 5. So that's my first equation. When I do it for the second one, that is when I apply KVL in loop 2, then I get 0 is equal to I. First, I always solve for I2. So I2 times Z2 plus Z3. We'll have a plus here. And I1 times Z3, because the two currents are in opposition, as a result a negative sign here. So let's put in the values. So 0 is equal to negative I1 times what it should be, Z3. Z3 is negative J3 plus I2 Z2, where Z2 is nothing but J2 plus Now Z3 is negative J3. So I get I1 J3 plus I2 negative J. This is equal to 0. From here I can write that I2 is equal to I1. I have 3J here divided by J. So I2 is equal to 3I1. So this is one of the results. So I call it, so this was my equation for the second loop. So I call it equation number 2. I shuffled the things and I got this. I call this equation number 3. So using the three equations, we can solve it for I1 and I2. If I'm going to solve for I1, my I1 will come up as, now when you're solving it for I1, I have to put this equation 3 in 1. So I'll be 5 is equal to I1 times 1 minus J3 minus, now I2 is 3 times I1 times minus J3. So the equation takes the form of 5 is equal to I1 1 minus J3. I have a negative here and a negative here, so plus I1 again, and I'm having 3 times 3 6J. So this can reduce to a form of I1 1 plus J3. This is equal to 5. Is it fine? I hope you all of you are getting an equation like this only. If there's any problem, please write so that I know it. Now here it's a negative here, negative here. In this equation I have put in. So the negative negative have gone and we are left with a positive here. And so from here we solve it for I1. Once I have the value for I1, which is 5 divided by 1 plus J3, I can very easily have a value of I2 because I2 is given by 3 times I1. Now, normally the rule is, or the recommendation is, that if I'm doing addition or subtraction, I prefer to use rectangular forms. But if I'm doing multiplication or division, we always prefer to use polar forms. Like for example, I have a small z which is equal to a plus ib. Then this is the rectangular form. And if I have to find its polar form, then the magnitude is given by square root of a square plus b square, and the phi or the angle is given by tan inverse of b by a. And that is how the same thing can be written as z with an angle of phi, where this z is nothing but the magnitude that we obtained here. And likewise, you can solve these problems. Now let's try to see when I solve these same circuits using multisim how the circuits looked like and what were they giving me the answers. Now when I go here and I go to multisim, then this is my first circuit and I already have connected the probes here. Now let's see if we are getting the same results or not. You can see that I have used two current probes, cyan one and dark blue one, and I have a voltage probe, this one. Let's try to solve it and see what we are getting. If I run it, then I'm getting I1 as 2.27. This is peak to peak. Please remember this is peak to peak, so we have to convert it to its respective value. Now here, since it cannot be peak to peak because the values are in DC, so the value here that you are getting are these ones. So let me just magnify it so that you can see it very clearly. Fine. See, I'm getting I1 as 2.27 milliamps. That is what we got. I'm getting V as 2.727. This was the value that I got, and I'm getting I3 as 1.36 milliamps. These were the only results that we were getting. If I want to check the other graphs, obviously graph is going to be a straight line because it is a DC one. So I can go back to my schematic. So by this time you all are quite comfortable with the schematics, I hope. I go to my circuits and I check some other circuits and I verify the results. And if I go to my circuits, then you can see that I have made a lot of circuits where we can just go and check. So these are my circuits on the window. And let's me find a circuit wherein I'm using two sources. Here I can find one. Let's click this and I'm opening this circuit. If I open the circuit, you can see that this is the same circuit that we already have solved. And let's see what are the results that we are getting. Are we getting the same results or not? Now for that, we have to run it. And when I run it, let's see what results we are getting here. So I just run it. And again, I'm enlarging the window so that you can see it. I'm just zooming it up. Now you can see that I1 is negative of, here it gives you 454.55 microamps. If I convert it to milliamperes, it becomes 0.45 milliamps, which we got. Likewise, V, you are getting it as 5.45. I got the same result. And I2, I'm getting it as, here it is negative 2.27 because the direction of the current is opposite to the one which we have chosen. So once we have solved it using either KVL or KCL, we can also check it using online multisim simulators. So I hope you understood how we are going to solve the basic circuits using our KVL or KCL. So I'm ending my class here. If there are any doubts, please leave the doubts in the comment bar. Thank you so much.